Hi, this is Don Murray with International Living. I'm talking today from our home in Mexico, and I want to talk to you about something pretty important. It's about how to get your visa, so I hope you don't mind. I've got some notes here because I don't want to forget anything important. But a couple of things to know. Mexico offers several different types of visas, but for our purposes, we're really going to want to focus on either a temporary residency visa or a permanent residency visa. And the rest of them, if you have an interest in coming to Mexico for a different reason, you can check Mexican immigration website and determine what you need there. There's a lot of bad information on the internet, as we all know, particularly on the expat pages for various communities. Everybody wants to be helpful, but the problem is the immigration laws change periodically, somewhat frequently, and so people are giving information that they had when they came here a couple of years ago, which may not be correct, probably is no longer correct. Different types of forms are no longer being used, and the terminology has all changed. So what we're talking about today is current as of the filming of this video. As I said, there are two types, and we'll also include the third type of entry, which is a visitor's entry. And that's really not, as a tourist, that's really not a visa, although some people think that little form they get when they get off the airplane is a visa. It's not. If you have not gone through the process of filling out an application and meeting with a consulate officer and having a document placed inside your passport, you don't have a visa. You have a temporary tourist permit, which allows you to stay for 180 days at maximum. So if you get off the airplane and you want to visit for a while, or if you're a snowbird and you want to come to Mexico, your passport is all you're going to need. Once you get to the airport, you'll clear immigration and customs. They'll stamp your passport because you don't have a visa. You tell them you're here as a tourist. That gives you 180 days. Now, let's talk about the dark side of that. Unfortunately, there's quite a significant number of folks that come down here and they wind up overstaying their visa. They'll stay longer than 180 days. They'll actually establish a life down here and never go through the process to apply for an actual legal visa, which puts them in jeopardy. They need to leave every 180 days or every 179 days, exit the country, and re-entry a day or two later and hope that they'll get another 180-day stamp at the border. That's not guaranteed. It's worked for a while, but the Mexican government is catching on to that, so I wouldn't suggest that anybody does that, although you'll see on some of the expat forums, just come down for 6 months as a tourist and then leave in 6 months and then renew. And a number of people have done that, but recently folks have been stopped at the border and turned back around after having established a life down here. So we don't certainly want to encourage that. You know, I'm just acknowledging it does happen, and people will tell you you can do that. It's illegal. So the first place to begin when you want to apply for a temporary residency visa or permanent is through the consulate in your home state. So go online, in whatever state you're in, search the consulate for that particular state, go to that consulate's website and make an appointment to see a consulate officer. Also on that website there should be a list of all the documents you're going to need to bring with you to that appointment, which will include a passport photo. And so take your passport, your photo, and the other documents that will be listed on the website, excuse me, which will include proof of your fiscal responsibility. And some nominal other documents. If you're married, you're going to want to have your marriage license and that sort of thing. Hang on while I check my notes a second. So I think I mentioned there's 3 steps to becoming a resident here. The first one is to meet with the consulate officer and present your documents for approval. You'll have a short conversation. Diane and I actually had maybe a 20-minute conversation with the consulate officer, and he said come back in about 2 or 3 hours, and we did, and our permanent residency visa was inserted into our passport when we returned to pick it up. It wasn't a difficult process. Now, a lot of people want to know about, one of the most common questions we get is how much does it cost to actually qualify for a visa? And I've seen posts on certain pages that various consulates around the country and various states have different prices. That's not true. The way that your income qualification works is they have a formula. It's listed, and it's based on the average annual wage of a Mexican citizen. You have to have so many times the average annual wage of a Mexican citizen to qualify. What makes it change from time to time is that the value of the dollar against the peso changes. So there could be several $100s difference from one week to the next based on the valuation of the peso against the dollar. That's really the only difference. Depending on the date, the time, the standing of the dollar, depends on how much money they say you're going to have income to qualify for a particular visa. At the time that I'm talking to you right now, for a temporary residency visa, you need to have income of approximately $1,620 per month, guaranteed. Now that's in the form of like Social Security or retirement funds from another guaranteed source. You can show bank deposits for the last 6 months. That money is going to be in your bank every month. If you don't have that, you can show a savings of $27,000 US in the bank account. Either of those two things will allow you to qualify for a temporary residency visa. Now, temporary residency visa is good for from 1 to 4 years, and if you get it for 1 or 2 years in the beginning, you can renew it up to 4 years. At the end of 4 years, you must either surrender your visa or upgrade to a permanent residency visa. Now, if you want to go for a permanent residency visa right from the very beginning, which is what happened with Diane and I, you have to have a little bit more money, income. I got to check that number here. Give me a second. Trying to turn the page. Yes. So for permanent residency, you have to have income of $2,700 per month, plus another $540 per month for your spouse. And I apologize, that's the same with the temporary visa. You have to have that $1,600 or $1,700 a month, whatever I told you before. It was $1,620 a month, plus you need an additional $540 for a spouse. Again, permanent $2,700 per month, and $540 for the spouse, or $108,000 in the bank. And then the consul will collect a $36 fee per visa at the time you do that. So that's the first thing you have to do, is to make that appointment and get the visa, get your visa inserted into your passport document. Now, that's not all. Believe it or not, that visa does not mean you are a resident. That visa is only good for a one-time entry into the country, and you have to exercise that visa within 180 days of its issuance. So you go to the Mexican consulate, you get the visa in there, oh boy, you have a party, and you have 180 days to reach a Mexican port of entry before that visa expires. That visa allows you a one-time entry into Mexico. Now, that's when the clock starts ticking. The day that you arrive, you have an additional 90 days. Let me double check that again on my notes. You have to have 30 days once you get into Mexico, 30 days, then you have to actually go to the Mexican immigration office and get your actual card. It looks like a driver's license. It's your residency card. It's called the Canje process. That is the third and final step to become a resident. And although, I think this is important to note, although we call ourselves expats and referred to as expats, we're immigrants. We're immigrants in a foreign country. We're guests in these countries. We are obligated to follow the rules and their laws. So anyway, Mexico is a wonderful place to live. The process is not too cumbersome. Get your paperwork in order. Just go through the steps one by one, and before you know it, you'll be a resident and have a great life like Diane and I do here in Mexico. Good luck to you.